Everyone knows that eating a lot of junk food isn't good for you, but sometimes we know that eating healthy is also a challenge. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has compiled a list that details 30 foods that people commonly assume are healthy or low in calories but in fact contain high levels of calories, fat, and sugar. For example, though plain and dark chocolate are given a thumbs up as snacking foods item, when these are named hot cocoa mix or baking chocolate they become higher in calories and fat than most of their other diet counterparts due to the added sugars found within them. Yogurt with a high calorie count is generally not considered a nutritious food, but the yogurt with only 100 calories contains enough sugar per serving to contribute half of your daily recommended caloric intake and nearly 5 teaspoons of added sugars in one container. Although some healthy foods contain natural sugars, they are not processed, while sweetened yogurt undergoes a breaking down process from its simple carbohydrate state in fermentation that makes it more harmful than beneficial to dieters. Advice on choosing yogurts includes looking at the total grams of sugar on nutrition labels and comparing them against the amount of protein and fat present for percentage comparisons. In today's world, we're all looking for healthier items because of the many risks involved with unhealthy eating. Unfortunately, however, in many cases we're still being catered to by fast foods and restaurants that are more geared towards marketing than health. These restaurants often focus on the appeal of a product rather than the ingredients it actually contains. But it doesn't need to be this way. Next time you go out to eat with friends or loved ones, encourage them to purchase veggie burgers with fresh vegetables like lettuce, tomato and onions instead of cheese or bacon. Better yet, why not suggest that they make their own homemade veggie burgers at home? Smoothies are a delicious kind of treat that is easy to digest, for instance. It can contain a variety of different flavors, but it does come with some consequences. As such, you're probably better off avoiding sugar-based smoothie ingredients such as fruit juice and frozen yogurt, as they're going to add unnecessary calories and sugar that's unlikely to contribute positively to your diet. Avocados are awesome, nutrient-dense fruits and make a great addition to just about any dish. However, some people might want to avoid consuming avocados because they're on a very strict diet or they don't like how they feel in the stomach. Thankfully, they come in other forms that allow people to still enjoy their delicious taste while avoiding the fat and calories. Some examples include using a cream cheese base for a smoothie or light whipped dressing to add flavor during cooking. Milk has been very widely valued by human beings for a long time, and it's easy to see why. It contains all sorts of goodness like proteins, vitamins and minerals. It doesn't contain any cholesterol or trans fat, and it contains great amounts of fat-burning protein and amino acids. Many professional trainers and nutritionists alike consider it the perfect natural supplement to fitness routines. When you opt for skim or lower fat milk instead of whole milk, you're not only cutting out a significant amount of calories, but also a lot of unnecessary fats that would clog your arteries and interfere with digestion. Dairy products like cheese contain high amounts of calcium and protein, but are also very high in fat and calories. As such, consuming too much of it can lead to weight gain. However, cheese is also good for you when consumed in moderation because of naturally occurring fatty acids that promote fat burning. Next time you're wondering how you're going to fit between a good meal, don't forget that this cheesy source can be beneficial. Most people regard the whole grain bread as a very healthy food, but this is actually not the case. Because the whole grain bread is made from bleached flour, it contains no healthy components and can therefore not be considered a healthy food. The actual truth of the matter is that it takes longer for the human body to digest an item subject to extreme processing, resulting in sugar spikes. A far healthier option would be to choose any one of the 100% whole grain products instead. Tofu is a very popular food in China, but it's also popular here in America because of the many ways it can be incorporated into a delicious meal. If tofu is cooked with too much oil, it may become soggy and unappetizing. You can fix this problem by just reducing the amount of oil you use when frying your tofu. Most people love burritos. This food item is easy to carry around and often contains great ingredients that are both healthy and convenient. The only thing some folks might be surprised to learn is that they tend to have slightly more calories than initially expected. One burrito, specifically from Chipotle, typically contains approximately 300 calories. If you're someone who is looking to stick with a relatively low-calorie diet or simply work on maintaining a leaner body, consider getting what the folks over at Chipotle themselves refer to as El Burrito Completo, or the complete burrito, which includes white rice, wholesome beans, fresh salad vegetables and a range of complementary items including tortilla wraps which can help you fill up faster while also keeping those calories down. Cereal is often considered a healthy breakfast food. It's full of things like fiber, protein, and whole grains, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. While this may be enough to kickstart your metabolism throughout the day, a large amount of sugar within the ratio of your chosen cereal may also do you harm by clogging up your digestive system with sugars. It is recommended that before you buy a box of cereal without checking the ingredients list and nutrition percentage, you look into product reviews on Amazon so that way you're able to find brands which are healthy yet plentiful enough in flavors to quench your thirst in the morning. It's been proven that the fish is healthiest when consumed raw. However, be sure to eat your sushi at a restaurant where they serve only fresh fish and are experts in preparing it in the right way, with low-fat fillings like vegetables and condiments. Also remember to not overindulge. It may have fewer calories than your average junk food meal, but it's still easy to forget that sushi roll is still an indulgence you need to savor rather than overindulge in. The majority of people at work like to indulge in a nice cup of coffee. After all, caffeine keeps us alert and awake, not to mention that it's so delicious. However, some workplace beverages are hated more than others. We're talking about overly sugared and milky coffees that sometimes come with whipped cream on top. Giving in to your cravings is okay every once in a while, but only if you make smart choices. So the next time you pick up your morning drink, try opting for an iced Americano or maybe even an iced latte without any sugary extras. Most of us like eating leafy greens and vegetables. According to an article published by the Mayo Clinic in 2013, the health benefits of eating at least 2 cups of leafy greens a day can be enormous. While some restaurants will offer their entrees with lettuce served as an option on top, it's always best to check before ordering a salad at a restaurant because it may also have crustaceans or any other type of meat not normally present in salads, so go ahead and ask. As we all know, fresh fruit is very healthy for the body and taste much more delicious than frozen fruit, which can sometimes contain a lot of added sugar to help keep it sweet. When you choose your frozen fruit at the grocery store, make sure not to select just anything. Only those that have one ingredient or less, i.e. whole or sliced. The healthier choice will be that if you can freeze your own fruit without adding extra sugar or preservatives in an airtight baggie, so as long as you don't overdo it. Turkey meat has a lot of protein and is healthy for people. It is good for the consumer to read the label when deciding on which type of turkey meat to buy, whether it is for sandwiches or just making dinner at home. It is suggested that not all ground turkey is created equal. Some packs of turkey mince typically have a mix of lean and fattier meats within them, but it's simple to check whether you are getting equal parts of fat and meat for your personal use when you look at the nutritional information on the packaging. Ketchup has always been my favorite condiment. It can be used on meats, fish, salads and even foods like spaghetti. However, ketchup is not healthy for people because of the sugar content. People should eat ketchup by going light on it when preparing food and adding not so much when making an entree if they want to still appreciate its great taste but also remain healthy at the same time. Soups, unlike many other dishes, are an ideal way to have a meal on a healthy diet. Soups have so much lean meats, vegetables and even grains that they can really help a person lose unwanted weight. As for canned soups, it's probably not the best option because of unregulated processing and high in sodium. Better to pick those labeled as low sodium. Apples are a delicious source of essential vitamins, minerals and dietary fiber which can all make you healthier in the long run. They're also good for boosting the immune system and reducing free radical damage in the body. However, applesauce purchased from an average grocery store will contain a lot more added sugar than actual apples. It's really important that this is always kept in mind if your final goal is to actually get super healthy by eating applesauce in its natural form without any refined processed ingredients involved. Though eggs are a nutritious food including proteins and other vitamins, it can also be bad for your diet if you eat them in a certain way. When an egg is hard-boiled, it becomes slightly acid and contains phorates which damage the brain and nervous system. It will be harmful to health when the egg is used to make an omelette because eggs are fried and added with fatty dairy, fried potatoes and meat. Make vegetables as the main ingredient of your omelette. Energy bars are some of the best food items to have in any situation, especially when you're in a rush or your body needs recharging either for work or sports. However, these days there are many different energy bar varieties on the market and some are considerably healthier than others. As consumers purchasing an energy bar, it's important to examine nutritional labels because they may not make that much difference nutritionally, but it's easy to get tricked into thinking they do because of clever advertising labeling. Tea has been a very popular drink in the East for many centuries. Many people across the world consume tea not only as a beverage but also to enhance their lives according to research. As an example, studies suggest that frequent consumption of green tea can reduce the risk of certain cancers and heart disease in men and women alike. Nonetheless, choosing iced over hot tea is less healthy since it is higher in sugar. The wrap is often thought to be a healthier alternative to making a sandwich. The main ingredient wraps are made out of wheat flour, for example, makes it considered as an unhealthy alternative when you take into account the fillings that would go with it later on in the day. Just remember, a lot of the ingredients you see wrapped in a wrap come pre-packaged if they're not homemade. These ingredients aren't known to be very healthy and can result in your consumption of energy, fat, and sodium skyrocketing within the day. It's because of this that we feel like it's necessary to remind people there are plenty of other options out there if they want something healthful to eat or drink during lunch or dinner time, especially if they're eating out at restaurants or bars. Not too often do people think about how tuna salad can be unhealthy in certain quantities or when it's made from the wrong kind of ingredients. It's true that canned tuna can be high in protein, but only if you load it up with low-fat vegetables like celery and carrots. Fat-free mayo and bread are also other items to avoid for those on high-protein diets. Since the rise in popularity of gluten-free products, food manufacturers have turned to gluten-free options to produce foods. However, such options are not the same as if one were to eat healthy grains like barley or wheat, and they can often be highly processed themselves, which means many of them will spike your blood sugar levels. It's best then to avoid highly processed gluten-free items and opt instead for healthy whole grains, since a good diet is very important for staying healthy. As with most things nowadays, it's important to have products such as trail mix that are lower in calories, saturated fats and trans fatty acids if you are watching your weight or looking to get fit. The problem is finding a decent tasting balance, because most of the time you can either add the tasty ingredients into your trail mix and end up eating over than you should, or you eat your bare minimum, which provides very little taste. Alcohol, as many are aware, comes in a vast array of types and flavors, so much so that often the flavoring is what it's all about. Similar to the red wine, which has become increasingly popular among consumers who love its potentially disease-fighting antioxidants. Excessive or prolonged alcohol consumption, however, can result in diseases and health conditions such as cirrhosis of the liver or cancer, especially if one does not use smaller-sized glasses that would limit their intake when drinking at home. It's important to consume any food in moderation, and there are lots of different ways that you can use chocolate for health benefits. Dark chocolate is better for you than milk chocolate because it contains less sugar and more antioxidants. However, simple sugars or those that come from milk products still shouldn't be consumed on a frequent basis. Fruit is a kind of material that comes in a variety of colors and flavors, making it very unique from the other foods to come from the planet. However, it turns out that some fruits are much sweeter than others, like watermelons or cherries, for example. Other varieties are healthier for us because they're low on sugar and high in nutrients, like apples. People enjoy eating fruits because everyone has heard how good they are for one's health and what a great treat for the mouth it is. But if you eat too much fruit which you know is loaded with sugar or perhaps happens to be very sour in flavor, then your dinner will not be nearly as healthy as you expected. The nut is high in protein and fiber which are good for the body. However, the high fat and calorie density within a nut makes it an unhealthy food choice. When snacking on nuts, you need to ensure that they are of low fat contents and that you only consume them in moderation because of their unhealthy properties. Otherwise, this can have negative implications on your health at large. All fruits are low in carbs and good for your health, but dried fruit is not. Although dried fruits contain less calories than fresh because of the water content, dried fruit has more sugar per serving than its fresh counterpart. As we know, water makes up a significant portion of our body mass, so it only seems logical that when the water is removed from a food we're left with less actual edible substance as well as sugar at an increased rate.